We departed Budapest in the evening for a non-stop flight to Moscow. You might be wondering why we are flying east to Moscow when New York City is to the west. We were trying to find the lowest cost airfare, and so we flew to Moscow, spent the night in the airport, and then we flew on to New York the next morning. The airport in Moscow has what is called a capsule hotel. It is a hotel with very small rooms inside the airport itself. This means that we didn't need visas for Russia since we didn't leave the airport, and we didn't have to sleep on the floor or on uncomfortable chairs. Our flight to New York was on board a Boeing 777, a wide-bodied jet with over 200 passengers. The flight time was about 10 hours. You might think that could be boring, but unlike the short-distance airlines, this one had personal video screens in the seat backs in front of us with a wide selection of movies to help pass the time. Upon arriving at JFK Airport, we took 2 elevated trains to our hotel. In some parts of New York City, the subway is elevated because the ground is too soft to make the construction of tunnels feasible from a financial standpoint. On this map you can see 4 of the 5 boroughs in New York City. A borough is like a district like you find in Budapest and other cities. So if you look at the map here, you can see 4 of the 5. Up in the north you see the Bronx. To the west, Manhattan Island, which is where most of the famous tourist attractions are found. And then over on the east side of the East River, you see Queens on the north and then Brooklyn down below. Here you get a view of the overhead subway, as we would call it, about a block from our hotel. And I can't describe how noisy New York City is. Take it from me, it's noisier even than Budapest. From the elevated subway, it was about a 1-block walk over to our hotel, which is actually a hostel, dorm rooms and such. And the front lobby was right here in this picture, and very helpful staff because obviously most of their people are tourists from out of the country or out of town. Our first stop in our sightseeing in New York City was the Statue of Liberty. It is located on a small island, so we departed from Lower Manhattan and traveled via a tour boat to the island. The Statue of Liberty is one of the most famous landmarks in America. It was given as a gift to America from France in 1886. Visitors can ascend up to the pedestal base and even all the way up to the crown. But tickets to visit the crown are very limited. We were only able to visit at the pedestal level. Here now are some of our pics that we took from our visit to the statue. My friend Béla told me that, Bill, I'm not a selfie type person, but I'm taking selfies in America. The Empire State Building at one time was the world's tallest building. It was built in less than 2 years, from January 1930 until August 1931. It stands 381 meters in height and contains 102 floors. There are observation decks at the 86th floor and at the 102nd. We bought tickets for the 86th floor because they were less expensive and because the deck at the 102nd floor is enclosed in glass. So we took a series of elevators up to the observation deck, along with a lot of other people that particular day. Here you see a view to the south from the 86th floor. Here you're looking north and west towards the northern part of Manhattan Island. Here we're looking east across to Queens, where our hotel was. And then, there I am. It was a beautiful, warm August day, not too hot. And we went ahead and took some videos just to kind of zoom in and let you get an idea of the immensity of the city and how high up we are when we're looking down. As we continued to pan along the East River, heading up towards the north end of the East River, we thought we saw a small boat, but as I zoomed in on it, it turned out that there was actually one of the uninhabited small islands there in the East River, and there's a statue on that one. Grand Central Station is one of the largest in the world with over 100 tracks. You can see that it is quite busy at all times. But as we pan up into the ceiling, you'll see an amazing celestial mural with over 2,500 stars depicting the constellations of the winter zodiac, viewable from October to March. On the lower level of Grand Central Station, we find the Whispering Corner. Take a look closely. You see all those tiles on the ceiling? Well, if someone's in that far corner facing the corner and just whispering, somebody all the way on the other side diagonally across the arch can hear what they're saying as they listen in on the corner. 7 Richmond Drive, from the time I was born to the time I left for college, my home.
Well, Hugh, the house, the 2 maple trees in the front are still there, but as you can see, they've been growing too. We just grew old, they just grew up.
Some of you may have seen The King of Queens on TV here in Hungary. It was filmed in Queens, and so we decided to go check it out.
My eyes are getting weary, my back is getting tight. I'm sitting here in traffic on the Queensboro Bridge tonight. But I don't care, cause all I wanna do is cash my check and drive right home to you. Cause baby, all my life I will be driving home to you.
This Italian icy place got really popular as a result of being on the TV show. So we decided to head on down there. And there's Béla trying out some of that icy. It was really pretty tasty. And here you'll see a close-up of what it looks like. A nice big Italian icy, great on a hot summer day. We headed over into Times Square in Manhattan, famous landmark, tourist attraction, just because of all the sights and sounds, most of which you can't really appreciate in these pictures. So I decided to go out and find a video, put it in here, and let you take a look at all the stuff that you might experience if you were there. course, we had to get our selfies in, and there's Béla, and yours truly. And Béla's father's friend from New Jersey came over to visit with us and took us around on a sightseeing tour on a bus there. That was a blessing. Just a few more pictures of downtown there at Times Square. I believe that's the tower where the ball comes down at midnight to celebrate New Year's Eve, the New Year in America. And, of course, no picture would be complete without, you guessed it, McDonald's. After our visit to New York, we traveled on to San Diego. We first took a flight from New York to Dallas, Texas. The flight took about 3.5 hours. You can fly to London or Moscow in less time. And a flight all the way to Portugal only takes 4. And yet, we were only halfway across America. Our flight from Dallas to San Diego took another 3.5 hours. I have driven across America, and on average, it takes about 5 days to drive the 5,000 kilometers from New York to San Diego.